Welcome to our channel. Today we will look at 75 rare pictures from the American Civil War. Write in comments which photo you like the most. An exterior view of Fort Sumter in March 1865 shows the battered remnants of the fort's southwestern front. The fort had endured one of the war's most significant sieges, symbolizing the start of the Civil War. In this relaxed 1862 portrait, George A. Custer reclines with his dog. Custer would go on to lead cavalry charges during the Civil War, later becoming infamous for his last stand at Little Bighorn. Itinerant embalmers, like the one captured here, traveled with the armies from 1860 to 1865. These embalmers offered their services to soldiers' families who wished to bring their loved ones home for a permanent burial. A 20-inch Rodman gun, large enough for a man to stand inside, pauses en route to Fort Hamilton, Brooklyn, in 1864. This massive artillery piece was part of the Union's coastal defenses. In 1862, African-American laborers on Smith's plantation in Port Royal Island, South Carolina, prepare cotton for processing in a cotton gin. This image highlights the continued reliance on enslaved labor even in Union-occupied territories. The wounded of Savage's Station lie in a makeshift field hospital following the bloody battle in 1862. Some of the dead were buried within a few yards of where their wounded comrades fought to recover. Captured at the First Battle of Bull Run, members of the 11th New York Fire Zouaves were held as prisoners at Castle Pinckney in Charleston Harbor. Despite their confinement, these men kept their morale high, waiting for a future exchange or release. Photographed a few days after the bloody assault on Cold Harbor, the strain on General Ulysses S. Grant's face is unmistakable. By this time in 1864, the Overland Campaign had cost the Union and Confederate armies 80,000 lives. The Provost Guard of the 107th Colored Infantry, stationed at Fort Corcoran, played a crucial role in maintaining order and security as part of Washington's defenses in 1863. In 1864, soldiers recovering from wounds rest at Harewood Army Hospital in Washington, D.C. It was one of many hospitals dedicated to treating injured Union soldiers during the war. Union soldiers relax on the front steps of Robert E. Lee's Arlington home in 1864. The scene captures the irony of Union troops occupying the residence of the Confederate general. This image of a young powder monkey aboard the USS New Hampshire, taken between 1864 and 1865, shows one of the many boys employed to carry gunpowder to the ship's artillery during battle. Swathed in mourning black, women stroll through the ruined streets of Richmond in 1865, grieving for the lives lost and the devastation inflicted on their once thriving city. This photograph shows a Confederate sharpshooter lying behind a wall of stones at Devil's Den, his rifle leaning nearby. A deadly figure, he symbolizes the perilous work of marksmen during the war. Farm women are photographed taking a break from their work at Cedar Mountain, Virginia in 1862, in front of the home where Confederate General Charles S. Winder died during the battle. A stark scene from Andersonville Prison on August 17, 1864, shows Union prisoners drawing their meager rations. These rations were often insufficient, contributing to the camp's high death toll. In 1862, escaped enslaved individuals, referred to as contrabands, sought refuge at General Lafayette's headquarters, symbolizing their newfound freedom amidst the chaos of war. Captured in 1863, Union Captain George A. Custer poses with Confederate prisoner Lieutenant James B. Washington, a former classmate from West Point, highlighting the war's personal and tragic dimensions. A soldier from the 8th Pennsylvania Reserve Regiment holds up a tattered American flag, symbolizing both the endurance and the sacrifices made for the Union cause. 3 captured Confederate soldiers stand for a photograph in the summer of 1863, following their defeat at the Battle of Gettysburg. In a peculiar and controversial image, Civil War soldiers appear to be posing with the carcass of what some have speculated to be a pterosaur, adding mystery to the archive of war photos. In 1865, 4 black children, seated among the ruins of Charleston's circular church, wear military caps, a poignant image of resilience in the heart of the city that ignited secession. A grim scene captured in 1863 shows a surgeon holding a saw, surrounded by onlookers near a medical tent. The photo marks a moment before a battlefield amputation, a brutal but common procedure during the war. General Robert E. Lee is pictured on his beloved gray horse Traveler around 1865. As the Civil War neared its end, the image of Lee and his horse became iconic symbols of the Confederate cause. This unidentified Union officer was captured by renowned Civil War photographer Matthew Brady. His image represents the thousands of soldiers, both known and unknown, who served in the conflict. In October 1862, Abraham Lincoln visited the Antietam battlefield and stood with General McClellan, whom he would soon fire for his failure to decisively pursue the Confederate army after the battle. This chaotic and funny scene at the camp of the Army of the Potomac in April 1863 captures the rare moment of silliness and joy in military camps during the Civil War. A mail wagon stands ready to deliver letters and supplies to the Army of the Potomac in Falmouth, Virginia, in March 1863. In an era before modern communication, these wagons were lifelines for soldiers far from home. In 1864, General Sherman's men systematically destroyed the railroad tracks around Atlanta, Georgia, to cripple Confederate supply lines. This destruction marked the beginning of Sherman's infamous March to the Sea. In a rare moment of levity, a Civil War soldier is seen goofing around for the camera in 1863, offering a glimpse into the lighter side of military life. An old photograph captures a quiet street in St. Augustine, Florida. Despite the Civil War's impact across the South, some places remained untouched by the conflict's scars. Union soldiers bathe in the North Anna River in May 1864, with the ruins of the Richmond and Fredericksburg Railroad Bridge visible in the distance. This rare moment of calm contrasts with the surrounding devastation. In April 1863, Lord William Abinger and Union officers gather at the Army of the Potomac's headquarters near Falmouth, Virginia. The British nobleman's visit reflected the international interest in the conflict. The formidable earthworks and fortifications of Yorktown, Virginia, seen during the Peninsular Campaign of 1862, were key defensive positions in the Confederate effort to slow the Union's advance. The grim reality of Andersonville Prison, Georgia, captured in this August 17, 1864 photo, shows a notorious Confederate POW camp where nearly 13,000 Union soldiers perished due to starvation, disease, and brutal conditions. On November 10, 1865, Henry Wirz, former commander of Andersonville Prison, was executed in Washington, D.C. for conspiracy and murder. His trial highlighted the atrocities committed at the infamous Confederate camp. The officers of the 69th Infantry New York, known for their valor, stand alongside Colonel Michael Corcoran at Fort Corcoran, Virginia. This unit was famous for its Irish-American heritage and contributions to the Union cause. A former slave, now a soldier earning regular Army pay, stands with fellow Federal soldiers at the Army of the Potomac's winter headquarters near Fredericksburg, Virginia. His service symbolizes the shift in African-American roles during the war. Confederate troops marched through the streets of Frederick, Maryland, during their 1862 invasion of the North. The march marked a high point of the Confederacy's reach into Union territory. In this 1861 photograph, the men of the 31st Pennsylvania Infantry go about their routines at Queen's Farm, near Fort Slocum, Washington, D.C., exemplifying the daily grind of military camp life during the Civil War. In April 1865, Union soldiers engage in a boxing match at a camp near Petersburg, Virginia. These informal bouts offered a brief reprieve from the brutality of the ongoing conflict. The scars on Peter's back, the result of a brutal whipping by his overseer, were captured in these 1863 photos. Widely circulated in the North, the images helped to highlight the horrors of slavery during the war. Francis C. Barlow, who entered the war as an enlisted man and rose to the rank of general, survived numerous wounds and later served as New York Secretary of State and Attorney General, embodying the resilience and determination of Union leadership. Civil engineer and Union General Herman Haupt crosses the Potomac River in a one-man pontoon boat of his own invention. Haupt's innovations in military transportation played a critical role in the Union's logistical efforts. The gaunt figure of a Union soldier who survived Andersonville prison tells the story of the camp's brutal conditions. Starvation and disease claimed the lives of thousands of prisoners. In 1863, 70-year-old John L. Burns took up his musket to fight alongside Union soldiers at Gettysburg. Wounded several times, Burns survived and became a celebrated civilian hero of the battle. The hooded bodies of Mary Surratt, Lewis Powell, David Herold, and George Atzerodt hang from the gallows at Fort McNair on July 7, 1865. All were convicted for their roles in the assassination of President Abraham Lincoln. A Union soldier playfully pretends to fire a Quaker gun, an immobile log painted to resemble a cannon, at Centerville, Virginia. This ruse was used to deceive Confederate forces into overestimating Union strength. In this studio photograph, 3 Union soldiers pose in a rare moment of levity. Wearing military uniforms with forage caps and insignias, the enlisted men share a playful scene, 2 holding mugs while one inspects his comrade's jacket with mock seriousness. After intense fighting at Marye's Heights in Fredericksburg, wounded Union soldiers await medical care in May 1864. This site saw some of the bloodiest battles in the war, with thousands suffering grievous injuries. The bodies of Confederate soldiers killed during the Battle of Gettysburg are prepared for burial in a shallow grave. This somber scene from 1863 captures the aftermath of one of the war's bloodiest battles. Amidst the desolation of Fort Morgan's ruins, a lone soldier stands in August 1864. The fort, located on Alabama's Gulf Coast, was a key defensive position for the Confederacy until its capture by Union forces. This photograph shows Ford's Theater in Washington, D.C., where President Abraham Lincoln was assassinated on April 14, 1865. The venue became infamous following that tragic night, forever changing the course of American history. A Sanitary Commission nurse tends to wounded soldiers at Fredericksburg in May 1864. These civilian volunteers played a vital role in providing medical care to the injured during the war. Soldiers recovering from their wounds rest in a Washington, D.C. hospital in 1864. These makeshift medical centers were crucial to treating the tens of thousands injured in battle. On October 3, 1862, President Abraham Lincoln visited General George B. McClellan in his tent at Antietam. Captured by Alexander Gardner, this famous photo contrasts Lincoln's towering stature with McClellan's aloof stance just before he was relieved of command. Jacob C. Miller, a Civil War veteran, survived being shot in the head during the war. His incredible survival story is a testament to the resilience of soldiers who endured grievous wounds. A photograph from around 1863 to 1865 shows a black Union soldier with his family, reflecting the shifting roles and newfound opportunities for African Americans as they fought for their freedom during the Civil War. In this solemn moment, Union soldiers gathered to attend Mass before heading into battle. Religion often provided soldiers with comfort and strength amidst the horrors of war. A massive mortar stands ready outside of Petersburg, Virginia, a city under siege by Union forces for nearly 10 months in 1864–65, marking one of the longest campaigns of the war. A Confederate soldier positions himself at a cannon in Gloucester Point, Virginia. The location played a strategic role in protecting key waterways along the York River. St. Johnny Clem, just 12 years old in 1863, became a legendary figure in the Union Army for his courage and valor. Clem's service as a drummer boy and soldier earned him national fame. General Joseph Hooker, photographed circa 1862, commanded the Union Army during key battles but struggled with leadership challenges and defeats, most notably at Chancellorsville. Corporal Calvin Bates, of the 20th Maine Infantry, suffered inhumane treatment at Andersonville Prison, resulting in the decay and eventual amputation of his feet. His condition reflects the severe hardships faced by prisoners of war. A Union soldier poses next to a sling cart at Drury's Bluff, Virginia, around 1865. In April 1865, just before his surrender at Appomattox Courthouse, General Robert E. Lee posed for this solemn portrait. His leadership symbolized the Confederate cause throughout the war. The wrecked muzzle of a 300-pounder Parrott rifle lies on Morris Island in 1863. The damage illustrates the heavy toll of artillery during the long siege of Charleston. The Federal observation balloon Intrepid is seen being inflated during the Battle of Fair Oaks in May 1862. Balloons were used for reconnaissance, providing valuable intelligence to Union forces. Marie Teppu, of Franco-Turkish descent, was a remarkable figure who served with the Union Army during the Civil War. Her dedication to the cause made her a celebrated war heroine. Frances Clayton, disguised as Frances Cleland, fought alongside Union soldiers. Women like her defied the conventions of the time to serve in battle, often at great personal risk. General Herman Haupt, a brilliant engineer, oversees his team of railroad engineers during the Civil War. His contributions to military logistics were critical to Union success. Sister M.M. Joseph, of the Sisters of Mercy, worked tirelessly in a military hospital at Beaufort, North Carolina. Women like her were essential in providing care and comfort to wounded soldiers. Colonel James P. McMahon and his officers gather at the headquarters of the 164th New York Infantry. McMahon was known for his leadership during fierce battles, leading his regiment with distinction. In a striking moment of reconciliation, Civil War veterans from both the Union and Confederate armies clasp hands during an encampment, likely taken between 1910 and 1920. Decades after the war, this scene symbolizes the slow healing of a divided nation.